squad. Say hello, Futurist squad. Hello, Futurist squad.
Right? With sleeves? Yeah. Right? She's not complaining.
We're waiting for you.
Throwing this in the bin.
Share for us to learn and also learn a little bit about Tulsa and public management and music. They are very accomplished individuals who have learned Is anyone from Lusaka? Zambia? I'm from Zambia. Okay, I was there 2 years ago. That's when I went on that mission trip. And so I wondered about that. So wow, that was something going there. It was just amazing. 12 cool things that you would not have seen otherwise. We're going to split the group. My name is Kelly Gibson, and as Vivian said, I've been doing this for a long, long time. And it was 2013 when I got to own the company and have hired now 6 tour guides that work for me. So we're doing all kinds of tours every single day. Meet Andrea Spencer. She's wonderful. And so we're going to split into groups of what, 12, 13, whatever we got? Okay, so Andrea, if you want to take yours to that corner, I'm going to take part of you this direction. So don't follow me.
Let's go with Andre.
Yes, welcome. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Hi guys!
Hello.
Okay, I'm gonna get you to come in really tight for me, if you would.
Yeah.
The reason being is, as you can see, it is a little bit loud, but I'm
Writing up and said, y'all hit oil on your land in Osage County. And Dr. Kennedy hung up his stethoscope and never practiced again. About that same time, poor Mr. Delay lost this bank in the stock market crash. But Dr. Kennedy went ahead and bought him back out now that he had all this piles of money. But he never took Mr. Delay's name off the outside of the building, even though it's the Kennedy building. He said he was a good guy with bad luck.
I've never been to Africa, but it is on my list. So, but I love to share the stories, specifically of sort of how we became and how come we have so many wealthy buildings here.
Yeah.
Y'all, I like to say it all started in 1901, just over the river in what we call Red Fork, Oklahoma. We hit oil here. 4 years later, we hit what we call the Big Glen Pool. Lots and lots of oil. As a matter of fact, are they going to be able to see the Tulsa driller at the fairgrounds?
Yeah, we'll make sure they see
Okay,
it. Yeah.
so that giant driller was the mascot for the oil convention that we held here starting in 1929. And that rig that he rests his hand on is actually a refurbished rig from the 1905 hit, which is very special.
York and Chicago to come here. So as we look down the street, I want you to sort of take in that we were really trying to look like New York on purpose. If you built it, they will come, right?
That's
So
right.
even in 1975, you see our big white tower that says BOK at the top?
Yeah.
That was built in 1975 by Mr. John Williams, hired the same architect who designed the Twin Towers in New York City. His name was Mr. Yamasaki. He designed it for us in 1975. So even in 1975, we were still trying to be New York. But it is our city's tallest building. It's 52 stories high, and it is a replica, meaning if you take 4 of those buildings and then double it, that was one tower in New York City. To give you a visual scale, okay? So we're gonna walk and I'm gonna kind of project, but watch your steps because it's a little uneven on the sidewalk, okay?
Okay.
Are called a cathedral chandelier. At the time, they were $300 a piece. Also, at the time, $300 bought you a Model T car. So there are 10 hanging across the street and 5 here. I'll give you an idea. Have you all seen by chance, or have you read the book of Killers of the Flower Moon? You see the movie? Here, come here. Do you remember this scene? Where they went and they put the mail in? Yes, so they made this the lawyer's building. And I lived here during the filming.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, so I talked my husband into moving down here for a year. We rented out our house in Midtown, but we had a 19-year-old Chihuahua. It was very hard.
I've got a 7-year-old Chihuahua.
You got 9 more years, sir.
Oh my God.
But let's move downstairs. All of that banister, do you see? All of that is one solid piece of marble that did not get broken on the boat on the way back from Italy. So we're gonna go into we're gonna all squeeze in the elevator too, okay? We're gonna get friendly. Here we go. Yep, we can all squeeze in, guys. Yep, come on in. Oh yeah. We do it. We do it all the time. Come on in. We do it. Here we go. The one time I took, you gotta go in further. One time I went up to 12 like this. Oh yeah, I just got my scale, okay? And it took like heavyweight. Yeah. Yes, we're here. Only by flight. Oh, look, it likes it better.
These are the basements.
See, well, this is the first basement. There is an additional basement below this one. This basement in particular is where they would have the ice chopper families. So in 1928, he did not like to sweat, and it's very hot in Oklahoma, as you see in the summer. Well, he had enough money that he had an extra elevator on the other side of the building built, and 24 hours a day, Wade Phillips had Tulsa Ice Company deliver 9-foot by 9-foot by 9-foot blocks of ice. And the men in these rooms that lived here with their whole families, they would chop them into 3-foot by 3-foot by 3-foot blocks of ice. And all 23 floors had a drain and a fan. And he would air condition this building 24 hours a day in 1928 with ice. So my new rule is, do not tell me you're rich till you have ice money or tunnel money. So let's go see that tunnel. And feel free to take all the pictures you would like. He would have an armed guard right here, and he would have an armed guard on the other side. You all, this was of the era where they would basically either you would get robbed or you or your family would get kidnapped. And so for safety measures, all of this tunnel network was for 4 people. It was for he and his wife and 2 kids. So,
Jesus Christ.
Go first. Go first in the tunnel.
if you see here, here's the original bulletproof door, and he would have an armed guard on that side. As you can see, it's metal. It's just so interesting. Today this is closed because it's getting ready to be made into apartments, but this is the mall. So this is the mall.
We crossed under the road.
That's right. Pardon?
We crossed underneath the
That's
road.
right. We are under 5th right now. Now, go ahead.
What are they going to do to the ball? To fix that?
Well, right now I think they're going to have to fix the basement may not be level, so they're going to have to fix it. So here was his cap off to the bank. Here was his cap off to the businesses to the east. We have prohibition in Oklahoma. This building behind me is his Italian Gothic 23-story oiled tower. Then 3 years later, so he built that in 28. 3 years later, this plot came open, and he scooped it up and he built this beautiful zigzag Art Deco mall. It was our first mall. 24 stores, 12 on the first and 12 on the second. Now, he was a very simple man, but he kind of lived big, right? That mansion built 30,000 square feet, and he woke up one day and said, I don't like this house. It's too big for 4 people. And so he said, I'm going to give it to the city. And they were so happy, but then he needed a place to live. Well, he had the mall, and he built a little 4,200 square foot apartment on the top of the mall. And he said, I can just live in the mall. Then I can bring in my buddies from mine and Wyatt's years of excavation. Of course, he had to tell it to his bank. Now, he didn't own this building behind us. This building behind us was the social club, and it was the Chamber of Commerce. But he did a lot of dinners over there.
Boston Avenue, this is not Boston. So how come we got Boston Avenue?
Very good question. Excellent question. You all, when we became a state as part of the United States, we were the 46th state in 1907. And our original downtown was across the train tracks in what is now called Cherokee County. And at the time, the Cherokees were still pretty upset being pushed off the Trail of Tears, forced out of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. So when they got here to the end of the Trail of Tears, they were frustrated. And when we became a state, and all of a sudden they had to then do something to help the white man, they said, no, we will not. So as Tulsans, we had to pick up our downtown and move it 4 blocks over here to Creek County. So when we did that, we already had Main Street established as the main. So we set up a system that said all of the cities to the right or east of Maine would be alphabetically named after cities east of the Mississippi River, and the left or west would be the left. So I'm on Boston. I know I'm east of Maine, and it's our main thoroughfare because one of the big oil barons picked, because at the end of it, at 12th, is a very famous church, and at the other end of behind that big tower is our train station. And they knew, with all the people moving here, if you follow the kids and the moms from the train station to the church, you'll follow the money. And that is why Wade Phillips picked Boston as his main thoroughfare. That's my very long answer, but it kind of give you
Yeah.
there actually was a reason. So, we're going to go this way. I know it's a little hard to see, but that building with the American flag waving, that was our city's first high school. It was built and opened in 1917, and the first day it opened, that one city square block, there were 3 grades, 10th, 11th, and 12th, 5,000 kids in that building. That is how busy Tulsa was. We were boom town. As a matter of fact, before this building right here was IBM, it was Amoco Oil. But before it was Amoco Oil, do you know what it was, sir? Before Amoco?
Oh, I should know that.
It's okay. It was actually Pan Am, Oklahoma's headquarters, because you all, between 20 and 40, we were not just the oil capital, we were also the air capital. William Skelly of Skelly Oil built us a beautiful 1930s Art Deco airport, and J. Paul Getty was instrumental in us getting the Douglas bomber plant. So we built the bombers for the war here. So we had a lot of influence. So we had a lot of air influence as well. So. But you all, right here, this was the Pan Am Oklahoma's headquarters, and you could walk up right here and buy a paper airline ticket at a kiosk.
Wow.
So to kind of give you a visual here we've got Boston. So we got Maine, we got Boston, Cincinnati, Detroit, Elgin, and we've got Boulder, Cheyenne, Denver. Do you see? So you could tell if you knew your geography, you could find your way around the city.
Well, this is where I live, right up here, just north of the Arts District.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I live in the
Owen
Heights.
Park? Oh, you're in the Heights. Oh, that's an awesome area.
Yeah, I love it.
Which side is awesome?
It's so fun up there, lively.
It is.
Little cafe.
Oh, Prism Cafe.
Prism.
Yeah, she lived in our garage apartment.
I have one in the room. Problem is I always forget it. Yeah. I have one. I always forget it.
Building is tall.
Yeah. The tower.
Even the new tower is twice as tall as that.
It's really tall. At last life.
Shake. You all, okay, this is interesting. There were several oil baron families in this era. One of the big ones was the Phillips family. They had 10 kids and they were from Iowa. The oldest, his name was Frank. And he came to Bartlesville, Oklahoma after the '01 oil hit. And he founded a company called Phillips 66. Phillips was for his name, and 66 was because he only put his filling stations on Route 66. But he had two younger, identical twin brothers that were amazing. They leave Iowa at 16 and go west. Hunting, fishing, mining, trapping, anything to make money. Even for a minute, both of the boys were Western Union tellers. We get to Spokane, Washington. Sadly, Wyatt's opinion structure passed. So Wade, the surviving twin, moves to Bartlesville, and he said, I'm going to live in Bartlesville and learn everything I can for several years from my big brothers. There was a race massacre that occurred, and it basically, the leadership of our city owned, they basically wrote all the rules, and they were jealous of the success of Black Wall Street. Everyone in that 40-acre community of Greenwood were millionaires. Like, everyone was successful. Everyone was well-dressed. I mean, we had segregation, and so all of those dollars stayed there. Well, the leadership that were with the Klan were jealous. But you know who was not jealous? Mr. Wade Phillips. And so if you turn around, I want to show you something. Do you see the top of his tower?
Yes.
You all, Wade Phillips loved the University of Tulsa. That blue and yellow O is for the University of Tulsa. And you all, when the natives were done fighting, they would break their arrows, and the breaking of the arrow meant peace. And he put a broken arrow in his spire at the top of his building so he would be known and identified as a man of peace. He had nothing to do with that over there. As close as that was, he wanted the world to know what he stood for, which I think is so cool, right?
Yeah.
So let me show you something else that I find really interesting. If you come over here, so you can see here, this little view up here will tell you a few things. You can see from the Cosden Tower, he could see his refinery right here. That's why he picked that spot. He finished that building in 1918 because that was his baby. And can you see how we bend? The water source bends right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
This space with the green on the top was where J. Paul Getty had his oil and gas company. And where this mural is where once stood a very famous theater called the Palace Theater. Well, we have so many stars. I'm sorry, sir?
C'est le Palace Theatre, l'histoire de street theatre called the Palace Theatre.
The Palace Theater? Here?
Bah, attends, c'est son petit affaire.
Yes, we have many things that are called Palace Theater. You're correct. And it was after the palace.
We outside. Let's go. Let's go.
Right here on this corner, right here,
Chima?
was a 10-story medical office by Dr. Fred Clinton. At the other end of the block where the bank is was a 1910 failed farming bank. And several of the oil barons came together and said, we need an oilman's bank. If we don't get an oilman's bank, all of the bank robbers around skyscrapers. Well, this was built in 1931, and he wanted to give hope to Tulsans that we were going to come back after the Great Depression. And if you let your eyes relax, you see two W's. We like to think one's for himself and one's for himself. But now, you can't go in this building, but you can peek in the windows. Well, look, take note of all the gold you're going to see. This is 1931, and this is the mall in Tulsa. It's incredible. incredible. It's gold everywhere. It's been maintained ever since. It's getting ready to be made into apartments, and so it's not open for public, but it's pretty fancy for 1931 for Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can think about, we were either skyscrapers or cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
Kind of nothing in between.
Right.